The truth behind the US tariff war. Proposed high fees on Chinese ships. Have you ever imagined that one day the United States would impose a service fee of up to $1.5 million on Chinese ships entering its ports? Do you think such measures can truly revitalize the American shipbuilding industry? Did you believe that a tariff war could easily shake China's dominant position in the global shipbuilding market? Think again. Starting from the 24th, the Office of the United States Trade Representative held hearings to discuss imposing port service fees of up to $1.5 million, approximately 11.66 million Hong Kong dollars, on Chinese-made ships entering U.S. ports as a means to fund the revitalization of the U.S. shipbuilding industry. The Washington Post commented that while this additional fee is another trade measure by President Trump's administration targeting China, it is unlikely to significantly impact China's strong foothold in the global shipbuilding industry. Instead, this self-proclaimed clever move may exacerbate America's supply chain crisis. In this video, we will explore the motivations and impacts behind this policy, analyze the positions of both China and the US in the global shipbuilding industry, discuss the effects of the tariff war on the global supply chain, and look ahead at the future development of Sino-US trade relations. If you don't have time to read the entire article, here are some key points for quick understanding. US proposes high fees on Chinese ships. Comparison of positions between China and the US in global shipbuilding. Impact of tariff wars on the global supply chain. Future prospects for Sino-US trade relations. As a YouTube tech blogger who has been sharing tech updates for 3 years, I've had the privilege of witnessing countless technological miracles. Today, I want to share with you the story of the US proposal to impose high fees on Chinese ships and the stories behind it. This information not only highlights the complexity of current Sino-US trade relations but also reveals the competitive landscape of the global shipbuilding industry. Through my video, I hope more people can understand and feel these exciting changes. Part 1: Background and motivation for imposing high fees on Chinese ships. According to recent reports, starting from the 24th, the Office of the United States Trade Representative held hearings to discuss imposing port service fees of up to $1.5 million on Chinese-made ships entering U.S. ports. This policy has sparked widespread attention and discussion. Case Study 1: Current State of the U.S. Shipbuilding Industry. The U.S. shipbuilding industry has been in a downturn in recent years, with its technical level and production capacity far behind China. Statistics show that in 2024, the U.S. shipbuilding industry accounted for only 5% of the global market, while China held nearly 40%. Faced with this situation, the U.S. government hopes to raise funds through these high fees to support the development of its domestic shipbuilding industry. Case Study 2: Advantages of the Chinese shipbuilding industry. China dominates the global shipbuilding market due to its robust technology and production capabilities. For example, the China State Shipbuilding Corporation successfully built several large LNG carriers, breaking South Korea's monopoly in this field. Additionally, China has made significant breakthroughs in luxury cruise ships and deep-sea drilling platforms. According to market research institutions, by 2025, China's share of the global shipbuilding market is expected to increase to over 45%. Every time I see China achieving breakthroughs in the global shipbuilding industry, I feel particularly proud. This not only showcases the strength of China's shipbuilding industry but also provides more choices for global consumers. Who would have thought that once considered followers, Chinese companies are now defining the industry? Especially when seeing the successful construction of LNG carriers and luxury cruise ships, I feel even more the enormous potential of China's shipbuilding industry. They are not only a source of pride for China but also drivers of global green development. Part 2: Comparison of positions between China and the U.S. in global shipbuilding. The positions of China and the U.S. in the global shipbuilding industry differ greatly, reflecting their disparities in manufacturing and technology. While the U.S. hopes to enhance its competitiveness in shipbuilding through high fees, the reality is not optimistic. Case Study 1: Technology Gap. The technical level and production capacity of the U.S. shipbuilding industry lag far behind China. Despite having advanced R&D capabilities and abundant resources, the U.S. faces many challenges in practical applications. For instance, U.S. shipyards often encounter technical bottlenecks and high costs when building large vessels. In contrast, Chinese shipyards possess advanced technologies and equipment, along with rich experience and efficient management teams. Case Study 2, Market Share Comparison. Statistics show that in 2024, China accounted for 40% of the global shipbuilding market, while the US only held 5%. This significant gap indicates that it is almost impossible for the US to quickly boost its shipbuilding industry. Instead, imposing high fees may lead to higher logistics costs, further exacerbating the US supply chain crisis. Every time I compare the positions of China and the US in the global shipbuilding industry, I am particularly struck. This not only highlights the strength of China's shipbuilding industry but also reveals the significant challenges faced by the US in this field. Who would have thought that once considered followers, Chinese companies are now leaders in the industry? Especially when seeing Chinese shipyards continuously making new breakthroughs, I feel even more the enormous potential of China in the global shipbuilding industry. They are not only a source of pride for China but also drivers of global green development. Part 3, Impact of Tariff Wars on the Global Supply Chain. Tariff wars not only affect trade relations between China and the US but also have profound impacts on the global supply chain. Particularly, the policy of imposing high fees on Chinese ships may further aggravate the tension in the global supply chain. Case Study 1, Supply Chain Tension. In recent years, the global supply chain has faced numerous challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic and geopolitical conflicts. Against this backdrop, the US policy of imposing high fees on Chinese ships may lead to higher logistics costs, further exacerbating the tension in the global supply chain. For example, many multinational corporations have already begun reassessing their supply chain layouts to adapt to the changing international trade environment. Case Study 2, Corporate Response Strategies. To cope with the challenges brought by tariff wars, many multinational corporations have adopted various response strategies. For instance, some companies choose to relocate their production bases to other countries to avoid the impact of high tariffs. Others increase investment in local markets to reduce dependence on external supply chains. While these strategies can alleviate pressure to some extent, they also bring new challenges and uncertainties. Every time I see the challenges faced by the global supply chain, I feel particularly concerned. This not only highlights the fragility of the global economy but also reveals the different strategies adopted by countries in responding to challenges. Who would have thought that what seems like a simple tariff war could have such far-reaching impacts on the global supply chain? Especially when seeing many companies reassessing their supply chain layouts, I feel even more the complexity and uncertainty of the global economy. They need to not only address short-term challenges but also prepare for future uncertainties. I hope every company can find the most suitable solutions and collectively address this challenge. Part 4, Future Development of Sino-US Trade Relations. Faced with complex international situations and constantly changing trade policies, how will Sino-US trade relations develop in the future? This is a question worth exploring in depth. Case Study 1, Policy Adjustments. In recent years, both China and the US have made multiple adjustments in trade policies. For example, the US government has repeatedly announced additional tariffs on China but has also engaged in multiple rounds of negotiations to resolve differences between the two sides. Meanwhile, the Chinese government is actively addressing challenges by expanding openness and optimizing the business environment to attract more foreign enterprises and multinational companies to enter the Chinese market. Case Study 2, Opportunities for Cooperation. Despite differences in trade policies, there are still extensive opportunities for cooperation between China and the US in certain fields. For example, in areas like new energy vehicles, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing, enterprises and research institutions from both countries are already engaging in various forms of collaboration. These collaborations not only promote technological innovation but also inject new vitality into the recovery and development of the global economy. Every time I see adjustments and cooperation in trade policies between China and the US, I feel particularly relieved. This not only demonstrates the flexibility of both countries in dealing with challenges but also highlights the interdependence of the global economy. Who would have thought that what seemed like an intense trade war could give rise to new opportunities for cooperation? Especially when seeing active collaborations between Chinese and American enterprises and research institutions, I feel even more the dynamism and potential of the global economy. I hope every country can find the most suitable solutions and work together to promote the prosperity and development of the global economy. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. I hope through this sharing, you gain a deeper understanding of the U.S. proposal to impose high fees on Chinese ships and recognize the complexity and diversity of Sino-U.S. trade relations. If you have any questions or thoughts, please leave them in the comments section, and I will respond as soon as possible. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting content. Looking forward to seeing you next time, and wishing you a pleasant day.